Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
Hey, I'm John Seiler, and this is the newest episode of the Phantom Zone comics podcast. With me this week is Connor and John.
Hey!
And yeah, it's the week before E3. A lot of E3 because we were talking about E3 beforehand. Sorry. Also just a bunch of big California conventions just hit back to back to back, and I'm still reeling from Anime Expo. So
I was gonna say,
forgive me.
There's three great times of the year, folks. There's Christmas, there's E3, and then there's Comic-Con.
To kind of get some announcements out of the way, we've had a lot of big kind of news that has kind of popped up for last week, leading into basically everyone announcing all their stuff at Comic-Con this week. But let's talk about some of the stories that have popped up this week. Kind of first off, I probably think the biggest story is that Disney has announced that Taika Waititi, director of Thor Ragnarok, is returning to do Thor 4, or 4, as I've been calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want him to literally put a number 4 as the title. That's just the title, and I want people to get confused so they don't know if it's going to be a Fantastic Four or a Thor movie.
That'd be a pretty good bit, actually. And then have both of them in there.
But I think
God, boys, they are.
But this does come at a cost.
They can do that now. That's the thing.
The other thing we should mention, though, is that this will come at a cost to Waititi's Akira movie he's had planned. It is now put on hold indefinitely.
Yeah.
Because of him coming.
Yeah, I think indefinitely is like a soft indefinitely. I think, at least from the interviews I've kind of read with him, he seemed kind of very impassionate about having a cast that reflects the source material of Akira. And I know that the idea that Akira seems kind of blasphemous to a lot of people, but
I would like to see his vision.
Sure, but I think I would be kind of interested to know his take on Akira. But I think people who want more Akira, it was announced at Anime Expo that the creator of Akira has a new movie coming out, and also Sunrise is going to be doing a new Akira animated movie that'll be coming out in the next couple of years. So it doesn't surprise me if maybe this stuff was already set in motion months ago, and to supplement this Akira being pushed back, that they were going to do another Akira.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I think the other big thing we need to take away from this is that, it's not been officially confirmed by Marvel, but this is pretty much now one of the big confirmed Marvel movies post Endgame and Far From Home, it feels like. Their panel Saturday, so we'll probably get more info then.
Yeah, we know that people are signed up for Guardians 3, Black Widow,
Eternals,
Eternals, and Doctor Strange 2. That's kind of all we know. Who are there's rumors that there's Shang-Chi. I
Black
assume,
Panther 2 is probably a given.
Yeah, but one of the things that I think is going to be really big at Anime X, or why do I keep on calling it that? San Diego Comic-Con, is that after Spider-Man Homecoming, or Spider-Man, why am I calling these things the wrong thing? I think it's because
can we just call this episode the one where Seiler gets names wrong?
It's all wrong.
There's just so many of them. But yeah, after Far From Home, there is no Marvel film on the docket. So I think when we go into San Diego on Saturday, I think that they'll do one of those kind of big image things where they're here is the next 3 years. And because
it's going to be like that Chinese theater presentation they had a few years back announcing all of Phase 3.
Yeah, which I don't think they'll go because that was a 5-year plan. and
A lot of that
Inhumans
did not.
was on that
That was
5-year
going to be a
plan.
movie.
How about that Inhumans movie that came out like last week?
Huge fan. Watched it
but-
7 times.
But it's like they have like 3 Marvel films planned for like each year, so I think you're at least going to get like, here are the next 9.
Here or the next.
That's a good point.
Plus, you're gonna look.
That's like 3 years for Marvel.
Yeah.
Plus, you're gonna look at it and think, because this panel that they're doing on Saturday is 90 minutes. You gotta think they're probably including those Disney Plus shows in there too, because those are supposed to have an impact to the MCU.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other big news I forgot to put in. There was a writer hired for the Falcon Winter Soldier show, actually.
Oh, cool. I hope it's a buddy cop.
It is the writer of the John Wick movies.
Interesting. Interesting choice.
I'm kind of all for that, because John Wick's kind of amazing. So if he's on the writing team...
I don't really go to John Wick for the writing, though. I go to John Wick for the fact that he put a pencil through 3 dudes' skulls.
Yeah, but the writing in John Wick is really good. Like, that's
Especially
why
the world building?
The world building is amazing. I'm kind of mixed on the writing itself. But I digress.
I mean, like, that's why Dread is so good, and The Raid is so good. Because not only the action film, or the action scene is so good, but it's, everything that leads up to the action scenes, like, matter, because you care about the characters, and they build up to a point where it's great.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like him joining a project as big as this, and doing the writing John Wick 4 through Infinity, whatever, I feel like it's such a good writing choice. I'd be really curious to see what that would entail, if that's going to reflect on a buddy cop tone or a more serious action, straight up thriller, or both.
I kind of want. I'd like a nice mix.
The last thing I kind of want to say about the things that they're possibly going to announce is, it's going to be, because we joked about the Inhumans, but I feel like the Internals are like on that same level where I'm just like, there's like a certain level I kind of care about on the Inhumans, because I like Black Bolt and Kamala Khan's great, but like the Eternals, I've tried like Neil Gaiman's Eternals. I think it's just bad. I just don't get them. It just seems like such a foreign concept, and for Marvel to try and do it, I'm like, oh cool. Like, I feel like Eternals it's like, if they can make Eternals work, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, do whatever. Because at least Guardians have the appeal of a giant tree man and a raccoon.
Yeah, there was something to fall back on for Guardians. But
even then, saying, with Guardians,
I don't even know what the fuck Eternals are. I think they're like the gods that make things.
But even with Guardians, you got to think, though, is that you also have to sell people on the idea. Most other people, like some of the people who love that weird stuff, whatever, you got to sell those people on the idea of a talking tree and a talking raccoon in space.
I mean, that sells itself.
For a general movie public, though?
I think it's like that weird Marvel kind of thing where you're like, oh, like it's quirky, it's like, it's like a bit of flavor. It's like, it's like a Star Wars. It's like them doing Star Wars. Like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Eternals is like,
they're adding
they're space gods, but they're not like new gods. Mm-hmm. They're not as interesting as the new gods, which DC is also planning. But it's like, they're not very like recognizable. They're kind of plain looking. I don't know. It's like they're not as good Jack Kirby characters. It's like they feel like Jack Kirby's, like the Jack Kirby characters that they like scrapped from the New Gods.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, they are colorful. I've seen their designs, and it is very Kirby-like. But like I was saying earlier, and what you were kind of saying is they're very abstract. They add texture to the universe, like what you were saying. So hopefully they can bring something out of that. Hopefully, because as far as like a general movie-going audience, I don't have any interest to go see a movie about Eternals.
I mean, I'll see it because it's a Marvel project.
I mean, again, I will see it. I just I'd like a reason to see it. Like with Guardians, I was sold it immediately. Like I saw that first trailer and I knew, okay, this is going to be a good movie.
Mm.
Fair. One more Marvel-related thing before we move on to the next story. This is a small thing that got announced today. So they announced the home media dates for Dark Phoenix, except now it's being marketed on the video as X-Men Dark Phoenix, as if you didn't know what it was already.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know why they didn't call it X-Men Dark Phoenix in the theaters.
I don't know either. I don't know they were trying to be edgy and it didn't work, so they're like, go back to plan A.
Maybe they were just trying to distance themselves?
Why? It's a recognizable brand, though.
Yeah,
it's a small thing. I just thought it was kind of interesting they were going back to that.
Maybe they were like trying to think that it's like being a darker story, that it's like, oh, like what if we do like a Man of Steel where, our brand is so recognizable that we don't really need to put X-Men in front of it. But I think that I don't think like calling that movie X-Men Dark Phoenix would have helped that movie at all, but at least for the brand of like overseas, like I think it would have helped.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like it's just like too little too late at this point. I just thought it was kind of interesting they're going back to that.
Yeah, like the live, die, repeat situation.
Yeah, God, that's a whole other bag of worms.
Yeah, well, which they should have just called that movie what the manga was called, All You Need Is Kill.
Yeah, that's a
great title. Great title.
So next up, the Year of the Villain Joker writing team was announced as John Carpenter, director, writer of Halloween, The Thing, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China.
You know who John Carpenter is if you know horror movies of the 80s and 70s and whatnot.
I mean, just even action movies.
And he's also co-writing it with Anthony Birch, who most people will know as the other guy in Hey Ash, What You Playin', the co-writer of Borderlands 2. He's also been writing a lot of the Big Trouble in Little China comics for Boom Studios.
Mm-hmm.
So he already has a working relationship with John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's lining up to be something really cool.
I'm just thinking like something like this big of a character. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, like, I've read his comics. Like, I have most of them, and they're like fun, pulpy horror comics. Like, I don't see how he could screw up this upcoming Joker project.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like having him do a villain, I think is a great idea. That's number one, because that gives so much room for him to work in that he's familiar with. And two, it's just the idea of a John Carpenter, something in that realm of like a superhero realm or a like super villain realm, just fascinates me of what that would be like. That's not, Michael Myers or The Thing or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, this is going to be a 40-page one-shot that will tie into the Year of the Villain event that will, I guess, be a part of Scott Snyder and James Tynion's Justice League run.
Oh, cool.
And the comic will be illustrated by Philip Tan and Mark Deering. Is this the Tan I don't like? Because there's like a Philip Tan, and then there is a Billy Tan.
The photo they're showing is Philip Tan.
But I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, oh, is this the one I like, or is this the one I don't like?
I see.
Because I think this is Philip Tan. Like, he did a run I kind of really loved. It was oh my god, what was that event called? Final Crisis, Resurrection, or The book was basically about Final Crisis is happening. People are getting like those like things put under their head, and they're being submitted to the anti-life equation. And then you find out that Vandal Savage is Cain, like biblical Cain.
Huh.
Wait, so he's...
And like the main characters of the story are like Batwoman, Renee Montoya. Question. It's written by Greg Rucka. It's super sweet, but like the art's like a little weird, because I feel like Philip Tan uses a lot of blacks in his colors, like to the point that everything just like looks super muddy. But hopefully he's like scaled back on that, because I mean that book I read was 10 years ago at this point.
It was dark. I'm looking at some of his other art, and I mean, if anybody draws for Spawn at any point in their career, you kind of know their style.
Along with this Joker news, Jeff Lemire announced that he is writing 2 DC Black Label projects. One is called Joker Killer Smile, with Andrea Sorrentino, who's great. Andrea Sorrentino did a lot of art on Old Man Logan, and he just currently got done doing a book with Image with Jeff Lemire, but I'm like totally blanking on the name right now. Oh, Gideon Falls. So yeah, that'll be the team for that. Basically, it'll be a new Joker book for Black Label, which will follow a character who has run-ins with the mental health profession, who is Harley Quinn. So this is basically like Joker in the asylum talking to Harley. The other book he announced was The Question, which will be with Lemire, Dennis Cowan, Bill Sienkiewicz. The project is called The Question, The Death of Vic Sage, and the central conceit is that the Question discovers he's been living and dying in Hub City since the times of the Old West, basically Groundhog Day.
Oh man, Groundhog Day is one of my favorite writing tropes, and I'm really into that.
I'm like super excited for Jeff Lemire doing The Question, but I was like reading the description for this Joker book, and they already have a Black Label book that's coming out centered around Harley Quinn that's like her take on the origin. So now they have 2 separate books that are in Black Label. They're basically, is it going to be like Rashomon?
Actually, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up with you, because you've said this almost every episode we brought it up, is that Black Label is just seemingly like a Batman printing label. It's more fun. Batman.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I was in another Facebook group, and someone posted up that John Carpenter story writing the Joker. And this is why I say, I'm like, not sure I need 2019's John Carpenter's take on Joker. Then again, I'm not really interested in reading and watching Joker story. And that was 5 days ago.
Yep.
And then yesterday, someone commented on it, like, whatever Joker seems to be fine. And I'm like, I posted this 5 days ago, and in the time it took you to comment, DC announced another Joker book.
Yep. That is hilarious.
And I like looked at the actual numbers on this, and it's like I get that you have this Joker movie coming out, and you want to saturate the market with Joker stuff, so an audience has stuff to buy. But this is the 7th Batman Family Black Label book, and almost every single one of them involved the Joker in some major way.
Yeah.
It's just like, thank God they announced The Question, because like I need a break from like all the Batman in Black Label.
Watch, I guarantee you, The Question book is just going to be The Question: Who is Batman?
Oh God, there'll be like some scene where Vic Sage is like he sees the death of the Waynes.
God, that would happen. I feel like Black Label becoming the Batman label is basically the new Doomsday Clock running joke.
I don't think it's as good a meme as Doomsday Clock, though.
Which got delayed again, by the way. Just pointing that out.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, it's delayed till September.
Oh, fuck's sake! Like, I'm not even.
I really
reading
wish.
the book.
I really wish I would have taken that bet. That
Yeah.
the last issue wouldn't have hit till 2020.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, you'd be making some money.
The other big DC news that was announced was that Birds of Prey will be returning to comics to coincide with the Birds of Prey movie that'll be coming out in February. I
Yep.
believe.
Oh, damn! Is it that soon?
Yep.
Yeah.
With the new. Oh, by the way, we'll probably get a Birds of Prey trailer this weekend.
Good point.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting a trailer this weekend. Wait, would we even know that Warner Bros. Won't be having a panel? Because they announced they weren't coming out.
I don't see them waiting till October to drop a trailer for Birds of Prey. I also don't see them just dropping it in any other week. I think if DC is kind of strong behind Birds of Prey, I feel like this weekend would be the most eyes to be showing that trailer to, and you just dump it online.
Because that's what they're doing with the It trailer tomorrow. At the time of this recording, they're going to be dropping the new It trailer tomorrow, and that would be a prime time to put it out. Would be Comic-Con weekend.
It's like starting to like, okay, now I'm starting to like realize why everyone's doing this. Oh, like trailer dropping this week. Because I saw some people online talking about there's a trailer reveal for Cats on Friday.
I am so excited for how that's going to look.
It's Idris Elba, so I'll watch it.
I like musicals, man. I don't get Cats.
Neither do I, but apparently he's making it with his new technology, or they're gonna be cats, but they're also people. I don't know. It's some weird, whacked out, wild thing, and I don't know how to feel about it. And I kind of can't wait to see this trailer because of it.
I also recently didn't realize that the Jellicles like ringtone on Princess Carolyn's phone is a Cats reference.
Is it?
Yeah,
man, I've never seen Cats. Like,
because that's just one of the songs from Cats. It's just Jellicles.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah. So getting back to Birds of Prey, new Birds of Prey book will be launching October with a new creative team of Brian Azzarello, Emmanuel Lupacchino, previously worked on Wonder Woman, Ray McCarthy, previously a Wonder Woman, and Tris Mulvihill of 100 Bullets. DC's description of the series reads: Black Canary's life has been spiraled out of control. Her personal life is going through the ringer, and her band is in crisis. An old flame resurfaces only to flicker out and set Dinah on a new mission against an all-new opponent, Los Espos de la Muerte. The only thing Dinah can be grateful for is the fact that she's not alone, as Huntress finds herself on a collision course with Black Canary's quarry at Detective Montoya's urging. Meanwhile, Harley Quinn has resurfaced outside of Gotham City and out of the Suicide Squad with a new lease on life that is sure to make everyone's life more complicated. And that's only the first 5 pages of this dynamic new ongoing series. So immediately, as a longtime Birds of Prey fan of the Gail Simone run, of like the stuff that Annie Wu was doing with Black Canary with her band, like that stuff looks like it's still part of the canon. It's definitely like the movie team with Huntress and Black Canary and Harley, but I do like that Montoya is a part of the group, and hopefully she's like a really good supporting character. And then like the group dynamic.
Well, Montoya's in the movie.
Is she?
Yeah, she's played by Rosie Perez.
Oh, good. I man, the New 52 did Renee Montoya so dirty, and I'm just like kind of glad that she's back now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like, so she's in it.
But like the thing I really love about Gail Simone's run on Birds of Prey is I love that you have like this core team of Dinah and Oracle and in Huntress, but then you have like this really cool extended cast of Lady Blackhawk or Barda or Misfit or Manhunter, and like hopefully the book gets like that really good team dynamic. And I'm not really sure if Brian Azzarello would not have been my first choice to write Birds of Prey, but hopefully because there's a movie coming out, DC really kind of promotes this book well, because I think Birds of Prey is a very important team that needs to be, always around.
Speaking of that movie, did you hear about? Now, keep in mind, this is coming out of Twitter from Screen Rant. Take this with the biggest grain of salt you can bring. But apparently, test screening reactions have come out, and it's split between audiences and Warner Brothers execs.
What does that mean?
Audiences love it. Warner Brothers execs aren't too sure how they feel about it.
Okay. Well, I'm taking that with some grain of salt.
Again, grain of salt.
Usually when producers find out that people like their stuff, they want to double down.
I
that doesn't really make much sense to me.
I guess it's like, what did people like, and what did they not like?
Like, is there a whole section in the movie where they just like take a minute to bash the studio heads?
That'd be funny.
That would be funny. I'll give them that, but like,
I'm looking right now. I'm going on it.
Oh my god! Speaking of like, oh my god, have you guys seen the images online that people bought ad space on billboards and bus stops promoting that they want DC and Warner Brothers to release the Snyder Cut?
Oh my god!
Oh, I heard about this. The billboard.
Yeah, like it's done. Like, move on.
It's over, man. Pick a new battle.
It's like a guy who was in a really nasty breakup and still calls his ex, and it's like, dude, they moved on. Like,
and it's like I get you're doing this movement to like raise awareness of suicide prevention, which I'm all for. It's for a good cause, but at the same time,
what is it for?
There's a part of that post that says release the Snyder Cut, and the billboard or the money that people donate to their awareness, whatever, gets donated to like the National Suicide Prevention because of what happened to Snyder's daughter.
Yeah. That's
what?
No, I'm dead serious.
Wow.
That's just like,
wow.
That's Stretch Armstrong there.
Ooh boy. Oh.
For a good cause, sure. I'm just not sure what releasing the movie would entail.
It's like Henry Cavill's not part of that movie anymore.
Henry Cavill's in The Witcher now.
That other guy, Ben Affleck's not in the movie anymore. Like, they've moved on so much that it's not even like a twinkle in anyone's eye that like these people are going to be coming back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just silly. And there also probably is no cut.
Like, that doesn't
hang on.
exist.
It says Deborah Snyder has responded to Snyder's like wife and producing partner.
Okay.
She's responded to it. It's pretty much like a positive thing because. All right, so release the Snyder Cut. It's pretty much like a suicide awareness and prevention. That's what the whole thing is for.
Okay. Good job, I guess. You got a response, and that's what you wanted.
So the next thing is
moving on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A TV series adaptation of Paper Girls was announced.
Yes.
No, I don't know what this is. So if I'm not as talkative on this one, that's why.
So this is company Amazon Studios, which has been kind of making some plays in the comic market with the recently canceled Tick, the upcoming The Boys.
Oh, I didn't know the Tick was canceled. That sucks.
Yeah, that was announced like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so the Paper Girls, set in 1988, follows a group of preteen paper girls, like girls who deliver papers, who discover a strange artifact and encountering a weird creature while on their paper route. The discovery leads to the group getting caught up in the war being waged across time and space. Paper Girls, I guess, is ending on issue 30.
Oh, cool.
I guess Paper Girls is ending this month.
Oh, damn.
Surprise!
Okay.
I fell super behind on Paper Girls because it was like a time travel book, and reading it month to month, it was just like super confusing at times.
Yep. Yeah, you know what, man, I did the same thing. Like, I have the first volume, or I have the first, like, collected set, and then a couple of extra issues after that, but I think I'm just going to wait until it's all collected now and read it at once. But yay, I'm excited.
I mean, the thing I love about Paper Girls is that sweet Cliff Chang art. So
yeah,
I'm really kind of excited to see what Cliff Chang does after this. And the final story I have at least listed here is there was a crossover book announced at Boom Studios between the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah!
So it'll be a 5-issue series coming out in December with, let me see if I can find the creative team here.
The second time they've crossed over, just not with the Mighty Morphin gang.
Ryan Parrott will be doing the writing, and Simone DeMio will be doing the art. But yeah, as you said, this is not the first time that they have crossed over. As people might remember, that the first crossover was during the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action animated series, or the live action series, and I believe it was Power Rangers Lost Galaxy
In space.
it's like one of these two.
No, it's in space, and yeah, with Ninja Turtles and Exputation, which if you all haven't seen, that show is oh man.
Oh yeah, that show's really bad. I mean the show is like bad in itself because the writing's not good and the animatronics aren't good. But yeah, the suits are super bad in that series. And that's also like the famous one with like Venus de Milo, which is not the problem with the show when they're like, problem 1A, female turtle.
They just added a female turtle back to the comics like rather recently. Like they've just shown off the new design and everything.
Yeah, so she looks cool.
She does look cool. I'm totally for it.
So the team that looks like they'll be showing up within this book is the original Power Rangers team, because that's just kind of the team.
I've read some of the Boom Studios run of Power Rangers. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I have volume 1. I have volume 1 gifted to me from a friend over at Boom, and it's just like in my stack of stuff to read, and I've heard it's good. I really like that Power Rangers Pink minion that they did a couple years ago with Kelly Thompson.
Oh,
Kelly Thompson, the writer.
The one I want to read is the Soul of the Dragon, which is basically Logan, but the Green Ranger.
Yeah, I feel like the Green Ranger has been like, I like the Green Ranger. I like Tommy. I feel like Tommy's been a little overplayed.
I will never get enough tired of Tommy. Tommy, I will always have more of. I'm fine with it. But that might be some out of pure nostalgia love, which I'm totally okay with too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm also like someone who, I was like pretty big into Power Rangers. I think Lost Galaxy was like that hard break where they were like, they're like, this is the end of this current, time of Power Rangers, and then like the next season afterwards was like a hard reset.
Yeah, because I think what it was that I think original to space was one massive storyline.
Yeah.
And then every season after that was a singular contained story.
Yeah, there was like some characters would come back for like a special event. But yeah, like Lost Galaxy like was the last, and I think that it was like kind of like the last time I was like really into Power Rangers. So like for me, like there's at least 7 seasons of Power Rangers I really love, but it's like that nostalgia thing where it's like, oh, we have to like the most popular character of course is Tommy. And so like I feel like every major comic book story that they do is always centered around Tommy, and I'm like, and at this point I'm just like, it's like a little bit of like oversaturation with Tommy.
That's fair. I can give you that. But also, speaking of Power Rangers, the Red Ranger who played him in the 2017 movie has announced that their Hasbro Studios is doing a full-blown reboot again.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because the 2017 movie was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I don't know why people like shit on it so hard.
But anyway, okay, so are we going on to the last comic story here? Because we have one more that I think we missed about the mask.
Yeah, we can talk about the mask.
Sure.
I wasn't really sure if anyone here really wanted to talk about it at first, but yeah, it's been 20 years, but Dark Horse is bringing back the mask with not the original team, which seems a little weird.
Yeah.
So I never read the comics. My introduction to the mask, like everyone else, is that Jim Carrey movie.
So the comic and the movie are completely different.
That I do know.
It's like the closest parallel I could probably explain to people who don't know the difference between the Mask comic and the Mask movie is like the TMNT comic and TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze. Where it's like, because TMNT 2 was just like so goofy. Like, it was just like a complete like difference. So like the Mask comic is like ultra violent, super bloody. It's basically like early 90s independent comic.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this will be a new 4-issue mini by Christopher Cantwell and Patrice Reynolds and Lee Loudred. I guess it will see the mask fall into the hands of a candidate for the president of the United States.
Oh.
I wonder who it'll be.
Yeah, so here's like basically like like the writer explaining like the book described as why they would now bring back be the right time to bring back the mask, originally called Big Head, to both return and enter the political arena. It is a perfect time for Big Head to reemerge, not only have people grown numb to radical extremism, nationalism, hate, vitriol, and politics and sports, they thirst for it like blood. If Big Head ran for president today, he'd have a ton of support. He'd have a real chance of winning. Even though he's a murderer, even though he's violently insane, I channeled all my anger, fear, and cynicism into a story and tried to create something as pitch black, profane, ugly, nihilism as my own hopes for America right now in 2019. I scared myself writing this book. I didn't realize how angry I was. I think we could very well be lurching towards a President Big Head style doomsday very soon, and maybe we're already in one. So
this book's going to be dark.
Yeah, which I mean is par for the course for the mask, but I don't know, man. I didn't read like when Marvel a couple a year and a half ago did Vote Loki. I like Loki. I didn't like really want to read a Loki book about him trying to become president because I was just like I can't do this right now. Like the world is too real right now for me to be reading something like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the Mask, I pledge allegiance to the Mask sounds good. It comes out in October.
If that's your cup of tea, I suppose.
Oh boy. So
Yeah, it's kind of strange that Dark Horse never really leaned into the more popular version of the mask. But then again, like Son of the Mask came out, maybe like, hey, like we don't really want to remind people of the goofiness of the mask. Like, let's just try and keep it the way the comics were. Because that's kind of like,
a smart choice for them. It
but
keeps
like,
them grounded, at least.
sure, but I mean, I think that's like the appeal of the current Turtles comic is the Turtles comic has like the grittiness of the original comics, but it has all the great bits of the last 25 years of Turtles media like wrapped into it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's like a fun combination of both.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of stories you guys posted about the Arrowverse stuff, which I like know nothing about. So if you guys want to talk about
I'll kick this one off because I posted a lot about this. So pretty much because, like we said, it is Comic-Con week. This year coming up for the Arrowverse is their biggest year ever. Not only is Arrow wrapping up its entire 8-season run, but we're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths, which in the TV format, I think it's going to be how they're doing it is over 5 nights, 2 nights in 2019, and then the rest in 2020, if I'm recalling this correctly, over 5 shows. And we've started getting a little bit more information about those shows. For example, the first thing we got was we have Supergirl has a new suit this season. We have ditched the skirt, and we are going just pants. Which, I mean, I think it looks like a pretty cool suit. It kind of looks like the design we had last season for the... There was a period last season when Supergirl, the air was filled with kryptonite, and Supergirl couldn't breathe. She has this Iron Man-like suit on. It looks a little like that.
Cool. I like the suit design. Seems like a nice little refresh.
Yeah, I feel like, and they were saying, like, this is the next evolution for the character, and I'm like, sure, I agree. Let's change it up a little. Let's change the status quo. Oliver Queen gets new suits every couple of seasons, so why not? Which means I transition into my next point, which is EW has come out with a lot of stuff because, again, Arrow wrapping up, Crisis happening. They're kind of saying how Arrow saved the TV superhero, and I'm like, yes, even though Smallville kind of got the ball rolling, Arrow did kind of modernize what this TV superhero is for today, I think. What else we got? And then other cool things like, The Flash has revealed The Flash is going to have ramifications dealing with Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, Crisis was first teased with The Flash coming out, starting with season 1, like the first episode. And now that it's happening, we're going to be dealing with the ramifications throughout the rest of The Flash's 6th season, which I think is cool. I'm all for having a crossover, especially as big as this one, having those ramifications felt throughout the rest of a certain show. And then finally what we have is Legends of Tomorrow is the weird, drunk, black sheep of the Arrow family, and God bless it for it. They've revealed that White Canary will be getting a superpower this season in an episode, which I think is kind of cool, and that the jokes for that write itself.
how come she does? How come she doesn't? I mean, like, I assume that she always had the canary cry.
No, so
wait, you said White Canary. Oh, that's someone different. Never mind.
Yeah, no, not Black Canary. Black Canary is over in Arrow. White Canary is just, she knows martial arts, and she was a member of the League of Assassins in this universe.
Sounds pretty superhero related.
Yeah, so I think it's cool. I'm kind of hoping that we get more info. I think they're doing a panel at Comic-Con this weekend. They'd be stupid not to. Plus, Batwoman's premiering this fall, so I'd be curious.
DC has a panel for their TV show stuff at Comic-Con, but they don't have a panel for their movie stuff?
No.
That's a yikes for me, bro.
Yeah,
I think it's because their movie stuff would get wrapped in with Warner Brothers stuff, and if Warner Brothers isn't going to have a panel, then DC's not going to have a panel for their movie stuff.
I guess, like, also, does DC not have anything announced? I mean, like, any, like, solid, like, dates after Birds of Prey?
All they have is Wonder Woman 84, but that's not coming out till like next June.
Oh yeah, yeah, that does come out in June. Yeah, maybe they'll just do maybe they'll just do what Marvel's doing this year, where like next year they'll show up and like, hey, and then they just trade off every other year.
Yeah.
That could happen. I feel like Marvel will probably take a break after this because they'll not have much.
Yeah, 2020 is Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 1984, and then 21 is Suicide Squad and The Batman,
The Batman.
and then Aquaman 2 in 2022.
And then Flash, which is never happening. I'm calling that right now. And then Black Adam, which is apparently happening.
Yeah, I think Shazam 2 is definitely happening.
Yeah.
Shazam 2 is definitely happening, but I think they're going to do a Black Adam prequel first.
Which I don't like. I get because it's The Rock, but at the same time, like, I don't know why we need unless they call this unless Black Adam is the Shazam sequel.
I'm not sure. They haven't given much info about it, but
so instead of it just being like about Black Adam and Kandor in like decades ago, it's just him in modern day dealing with like the Shazam crew. But then it's like, why would you name the movie after the villain?
I think you're probably going to be doing a Black Adam, probably that prequel movie, because they were hinting at it in Shazam. If you even haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't seen it, but I don't.
It just makes me remember like X-Men Apocalypse, and I'm just like, hopefully it's better than that.
It's not hard.
Yeah, I think there's nowhere you can go but up. But yeah, so I think this year DC usually trots out their TV shows, especially the Arrow. They trot that out almost every year, and then they're probably going to be doing stuff with their DC universe shows, probably more like with Harley Quinn and Titans season 2.
Okay, I'll take your word for that.
Does Doom Patrol have a season 2 announced?
Not yet, but don't be surprised if hopefully they announce it at Comic-Con.
I'd hope so, because like I really like the comics, and I haven't read I haven't watched the show yet, but I was talking to one of my coworkers who is like I think she's 66 years old, and she didn't even know it was a comic book thing, and she just starts talking about all this weird shit. Like she talked to me about the orgasm scene, because she had just never seen anything that weird in a TV show before. I was like, well,
there was a supercut I found of Brendan Fraser's character just saying "fuck" a lot, and I started laughing hysterically. And I'm like, okay, I need to watch this now.
All right, I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, it's amazing. Hang on, I'll put it in here actually in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, do we have any other expectations for Comic-Con coming up? Because I know that was our topic where we kind of were discussing.
There's supposed to be like a big sorry, that just tapped really loud in my ear.
I'm sorry.
There's supposed to be a big to-do for the X-Men at the Marvel panel on Sunday. So hopefully we kind of like find out more about Hickman's plans for the X-Men going soon.
Yeah, doesn't that book come out like this month?
Power of that. So I found out this week that it's not Power of X, it's Power of 10.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What?
So there's supposed to be so that comic comes out this week, and it'll be dual shipped for the next 3 months. So it'll be like 2 issues each month.
Okay.
So it would make sense based off the solicits being 3 months behind that we would get the official reveal of like what X-Men books are going to be set after this run. So I imagine we'll get like some news about that.
Okay.
I'm kind of hoping, and this is like a pure stab in the dark sort of thing, whatever, in terms of just, I would love to see if Netflix came out and gave some more like Miller World information about what they're going to do with the projects.
Yeah, I imagine we'll get like news about the Magic Order.
Yeah, because I know right now their only panels are Dark Crystal and The Witcher show that Henry Cavill's in.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll get something in terms of what they'll do there.
And yeah, like I just kind of like want to know about the future of Young Animal. That's like my baby over at DC. I love, and I hope it continues post this run of books.
Yeah, because isn't that getting shuttered too? Like, they're going everything, if I'm recalling.
It's. I don't think it's gonna like. The idea is it's a seasonal thing, so the books will end, and then they'll announce some new books like a couple months later, do a run, then come back later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not really the expert on comics, as this podcast has kind of become self-evident of, but...
Well, I think even like superhero movie-based or anything like that, or superhero TV-based.
Well, like, obviously I'm excited to see what Marvel's going to do with the future, just because there's just so much potential. Yeah, honestly, this year I've been really out of it for, like, the movie industry. I've just been, like, playing video games is
Yeah,
I was gonna say
this summer has not been super good for movies.
No, well,
There's been very few good ones right now that I've seen. I just saw, what was it, Stuber the other day, and that was good? Question mark.
Okay.
Which one?
I liked Stuber, the one with Dave Bautista.
Oh yeah. I heard like super mixed things. I was like, I'll just wait. Like I haven't felt super compelled to go and see movies recently.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've been going through a Quentin Tarantino marathon to a new one.
Oh yeah, there's a theater in town they'll be running in on like film. So
yeah,
I'd see it. Definitely go.
Yeah, I saw the Hateful Eight on 70mm, and that was great.
Hey, so did I. I went to the roadshow.
Yeah,
that's how I watched it. Yeah, and like Hateful Eight is like not good, but it was still kind of like worth.
Before we started recording, I started watching the extended of Netflix put out.
Yeah, I really liked the Hateful Eight, but that's just me.
I don't feel like it's a controversial statement to say that the Hateful Eight is his worst.
No, it's not. Like that is the popular opinion. Yeah.
I mean, right now, I have yet to see how I feel about it. Right now, current Dead Reservoir Dogs, while intense, doesn't hold up as well as it does. I gotta say, it's not my favorite as much anymore.
That's fair.
But actually, Connor, I was gonna say to you, speaking of which, there is a Marvel Games panel. I think tomorrow or Friday.
Okay, I will look at that.
Because they're doing a lot more info on Avengers.
Yeah, they better, because we got nothing the first time. We got some cool visuals and a release date.
And I think Greg Miller is hosting a panel, that panel for Marvel Games, so you'll probably maybe get some more info.
God, right? Greg Miller was so insufferable, like, during E3. Like, it's just like, there was like one panel where he was just like yelling at the top of his lungs. I think it was about Star Wars. And he was just like, "Oh my god, it looks so insane!" And I'm like, "Dude, like,
yeah." That was
Greg Miller always tends to turn it up to about a 20. I mean, I'm a fan of Kind of Funny. I like listening to the in-review stuff. He turns those plot recaps up to a 20 every time he recaps. It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, it's just like, when I'm not gonna like try and act like that. He's a guy who's a journalist who's like covering a thing for a job, because like obviously like at that point he's being paid as a host as a hype man, but at the same time it's like I can't take you seriously as like a reviewer when you act like a shill.
All right.
And that's like,
I mean, I did not watch the EA panel. To be honest, I knew he was hosting it. I didn't watch them. I kind of only watched like the gameplay demo afterwards when they dropped the gameplay demo for Star Wars.
And this is even just like going back to when he was like the PlayStation editor, and he was just like, Uncharted 3 is like the greatest game I've ever played, 10 out of 10. And I'm like, and then it was like immediately like 6 months later, he was like, I overshot it a little bit. And I'm like, okay, these are the times where you like learn not to,
shoot your shot.
Showboat.
or like just like shoot your load. It's like have some self control. And I mean, and again, he's excited, but I don't know. I feel like I'm about the same age as him, and I feel like I've tempered my expectations on like the AAA space on games, and I kind of wish that but at the same time, people love characters, and that's
and Greg
that's why
Miller is a
he's
character.
yeah.
So anyway, that's the only game one I know about. The other big game superhero news is Ultimate Alliance 3 is out currently right now. I haven't played it, but it looks good.
Oh, is it out now? I thought it was out. Oh, yeah, I thought it was out on Friday.
I think it's out right now.
I might check that out next week then.
Yeah, I don't even know like what game stuff that they have there. Hopefully,
I think that's it.
I know Adult Swim is doing some stuff, and Devolver Digital would do some stuff, but Adult Swim always has a big presence at Comic-Con, so I'll be excited to see what they have to say.
Well, I think they're doing a Rick and Morty panel, so that wouldn't be too surprising.
Yeah, no, that's probably the main stage.
Oh yeah, because Adult Swim is probably going to show off Primal.
Primal. Oh hell yeah! Oh man, I forgot.
Oh, is that the Tartakovsky show?
Yeah. Okay. So that's the other thing I'm excited about is because San Diego Comic-Con is like the only convention in the United States other than MomoCon that does American animation stuff. So I'm really excited to kind of see like what's announced at the Cartoon Network panel. They'll probably show off like bits of the Steven Universe movie that comes out in the fall. I'm really excited to kind of see like what new stuff from Craig of the Creek and OKKO and like Summertime Island and some of the other stuff that they're doing from Cartoon Network. I assume there's probably a Disney animation panel, so they'll probably talk more about
I think Nickelodeon and SpongeBob is tomorrow. SpongeBob just got renewed apparently.
Yeah, and then they're also doing that. And then they're also doing that really awful spin-off SpongeBob show that the creator never wanted, and they waited until he died to make.
Of course.
Like real Americans.
But Disney also has DuckTales still coming out, still really strong. I know that they were talking about possibly doing Darkwing Duck as a new ongoing series, which if you're up to date on...
You want to know how Disney gets me back? Bring back Gargoyles, then you get me back.
By the way, if people are up to date on DuckTales, you've already seen the reintroduction of how they've done Darkwing Duck into the main series, and it's really good. Yes. It's super good. If you want me to spoil it for you, like after the podcast, I'll totally tell you because it's great. It's so good. And then they have their new animation stuff like the Owl House, Amphibia is starting to come out now, and that's been pretty cool.
Don't be surprised if they maybe. Well, I don't think they would because it's Disney Plus stuff. They might do some Disney Plus stuff. But maybe Clone Wars Season 7? Maybe some like stuff around that?
That would get me interested. That's a way to pull my focus.
But yeah, animation stuff is like the thing I'm like 1A, like always excited about hearing about.
I can hear you frothing at the mouth now. Yeah, no, I will absolutely be checking out the animated. Much like you, John, I'm very interested in it. Probably not as much as you, mind you, but I prefer animated movies over real movies at this point in my life.
Speaking of animation, I kind of hope Netflix comes out and gives us more details about that third show in the Guillermo del Toro trilogy he has, the Troll Hunters, Three Below, and I think it's called Wizards.
Wizards. Okay.
Have you guys seen these shows at all? Guillermo del Toro?
I watched a little bit of Troll Hunter.
I was actually almost about to watch Troll Hunter today, but
Troll Hunters is great. I highly recommend it.
We ended up watching The Hunchback of Notre Dame in the office today.
It's even better. But no, Troll Hunters is fantastic. Three Below, it's okay. I think it's necessary to watch given the lead up it leads into the next show. So I'd be really curious to see if Netflix drops any information about Wizards, given Three Below kind of ending. Three Below's ending of the last season kind of ties right into the new show.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know they were like a a series. I thought they were like standalone anthologies. Like they were all part of the same universe, but just told different stories. That didn't
No, they kind of interconnect. You kind of have to watch Troll Hunters, then you watch Three Below.
Okay. Well, then you just saved me a lot of confusion.
You're welcome. So I would love to see that. I would love to see. I'm trying to think of like the other anime stuff. I haven't seen Dragon Prince, so I can't comment on that one.
I watched the first episode
Yep.
with some buddies. It's cute
Yeah,
as hell.
it's on my list too.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Dragon Prince.
It's on mine. I want to watch it. I just haven't a chance to because I know it's from one of the writers of Avatar, and that has sold me already because.
Yep. And you
Yeah,
can
a
tell
lot-
it's very whimsical.
A lot of animation stuff I watch at work, and I just got done watching the finale of Star versus the Forces of Evil, so I'm looking to like now like siphon into like my next animated project to like go into.
You can't go wrong with Troll Hunters, Dragon Prince is supposed to be good, or Voltron.
Yeah, I'm on season 4 of Voltron now, I think. 3.
I really dug Voltron. That was a good reboot.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun so far. I just wish they would cut down on the same transformation sequence every episode.
You get used to that.
I know it's.
I mean, that's the fun.
That's the fun, and they do keep it fresh every by updating it stuff. But personally, it just starts to wear at me. But it doesn't stop me from watching it, mind you. So
It does its job.
it does its job.
Is that kind of it?
I was just gonna say, like, I
feel
don't
like
have
we've
anything
covered
to
everything
say.
we wanted to cover coming out of.
This is pre-Comic-Con, and then next week we'll have the wrap-up.
Yeah, which I feel like will just be like a huge show.
Yep, that'll probably be a
next
long
week I think
one.
will definitely be the post. What our reactions to the news are.
Yeah, and there will be a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I like that. I like to. This is always my favorite part of the show, talking about the news and such. So, yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
It does. All right. Do we want to do closing intros?
If you guys want to go first.
Just some
All right.
plugs.
You can find me on Twitter, jamscott193. I'm also kind of just still bopping around the Fan Zone group. I know, actually, speaking of the Arrowverse shows, I think the boys just finished wrapping up the shows for this last season. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. And yeah.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at QuestionConnor. I'm on Instagram at MaybeConnor. And you can find me sometimes writing at thelosthorror.wordpress.com. I talk about video games and other stupid garbage. John?
Yeah, my name is John Seiler. You can find me on Twitter at JohnJHN_FN_Seiler, SEILER, where I talk about my work at faku.net, talk about comics I'm currently reading, things I'm excited about, and I'm also part of a podcast called Legion of Tunes, which is currently in the middle of trying to figure out like what's up with it. So it's being retooled into like I think it's being like retooled into like I think something like a little bit that doesn't feel so samey, because I think like what we had like a problem for a little bit where people were picking shows that all kind of had the same tone, and you're like, I'm not really sure like what more I can say about this.
Fair enough.
But so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for inviting us into your ears, and have a good week.
I love you.
Take care.
Don't forget Count Frollo is an incel, by the way.
Seiler, every time. First it was the swingers thing, now it's the guy. God damn it. Right. Be well, everyone. Good night.
Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
And now, comics.